So boys and girls, I wanted to say this is actually the video guide for part 17 of lesson one, but you can see that I'm still in part 16 because I wanted to show you one more thing. And that is that if I click on either of these objects, if I click on the cube or I click on the sphere, in the shape menu, I can basically control how big it is. Well, in a number of different ways. For example, I can actually click right here and type in the number 25. Like, remember when I was trying to make it 25 by 25? So I can click here and type the number in 25. And so you can change the measurements by literally just typing them in. That's what I wanted to show you. Okay, so let's go to part 17 now. And this is one of the most important lessons in lesson one, is learning how to create a hole. Okay, this is very important. You're going to use this a lot when you're creating other projects like the castle. You'll be using this to create the castle. Well, you'll be using all the skills you've learned so far, but this is an especially important one. It's kind of like a multi-step skill, so you got to learn them in order and you got to memorize them. Okay, it's not too hard, so just follow along. I'll show you. You ready? So first of all, you would read what's up here. Okay, we are going to be studying what is known as a Boolean operation. Okay, so what that means is that basically we're either going to be adding a shape to a shape and making a complex shape, or we're going to be subtracting a shape from a shape, so removing part of a shape. Okay, so I'm going to show you more about what that means right now. Okay, so you can see this is the explanation right here. Boolean addition adds one shape to another, and Boolean subtraction removes space from a shape or creates negative space, like a depression or a hole or something missing from a shape. Okay, so let's try the Boolean subtraction. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow the instructions. It says, while the sphere is selected, click hole from the inspector. Okay, so let's make sure the sphere is selected. So I clicked on the sphere. It's the shape that is selected. And now I'm going to click on this one right here for hole. Okay, now you can see what happened to the sphere in my work plane. It's kind of like missing now, right? So let's go to the next step. That would be part 18. And here's how you select. What I want to do now is I want to take the sphere, which I made into a hole, and the cube. I want to select all of them together because I'm going to group them together into one object. So right now there's still two different objects. There's the sphere and there's the cube. I want this to become one shape with part of the cube missing in the shape of the sphere. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select both shapes. And here's how you do it. Just watch me on screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine a square or a rectangle that fits around both shapes. And I'm going to put my mouse in the upper left corner of that shape, that imaginary shape. And I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag open. Oh, I have to be in the work plane. So I'm going to click and hold and drag open this imaginary, so you can see it has red, it's outlined in red dashed line, right? So I'm going to click and hold in one corner, drag it open until it's surrounding both shapes, and then let go of the mouse. And now both shapes have been selected, and you can tell because they all have a blue highlighted line around the edges, so that you can see that the blue highlight is around the sphere and it's around the cube. You can see it on all the edges of all of those shapes. Okay, that means that the whole thing is selected now as one shape. And I did that by drawing that imaginary rectangle around them all and then letting go. Okay, so that's what's called, right here in the directions, it's called band selection, because you're banding or grouping the objects together and selecting them. So it's called band selection. Okay, so that was all we had to do on part 18. So let's see if we can just go to part 19 and finish this up. Okay, so now we're going to use it says by using the group function, we can use any combination of Boolean addition or subtraction to turn those objects into a complex shape. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. With both objects selected, which they are, I'm reading the instructions right now, click the group icon in the menu bar, and the group icon is right here. And if you hover over it, the word group will pop up. That's what you know you need to press. So press it, group, and then you can see that I have now what see this picture? I'm always trying to make it look like the picture. And if I deselect that and then rotate around, it doesn't look exactly, because you can see the sphere doesn't quite go to the edges of the cube, but for the most part, it is identical to the picture. It's a little bit off, but you don't have to worry about that. This is all just for practice, okay? But if you wanted it to be perfect, what you would have done in the first place is make sure that that sphere went all the way to the edges of the cube, okay? But you can see that if I rotate around, it does look pretty much like that object right there. So mission accomplished. Continue to the next step. And now, congratulations, we're done with part 20. Good job, boys and girls. You finished lesson 1. Now, let's go take the quiz and then start lesson 2. See you guys later. Good job.